Well, good afternoon. This is eBike Bert. Back out on the trail and do a little street, little trail riding. Oh, you already know I enjoy the trail riding more. I'm on my Venture 0.2 750 watt rear hub motor, which is the maximum for Minnesota. At least on the trails it is. I find it to be plenty. Class 2 with the throttle, which I use most of the time, almost all the time. There we go. We've got I still watch for cars turning. And we got some people in front of us here. We'll give them the bell and call out. On your left. Thank you. Once again, pedestrians have the right of way. When I'm ringing the bell and calling out and I'm telling them to get out of my way, I'm just letting them know I'm going to pass on the left, and I slow way down, and I always thank them. If they didn't move, well, then I would ring the bell and call out again and go out on the grass. Little overcast, not bad. Possible rain, but I don't think so. It's not forecast. A little sun coming through there. I think you can see my readout of my display. I'm doing about 18 mile an hour and 19. Class 2. For maybe some new viewers, Class 2 is capable of 20 mile an hour with pedal assist or throttle. And at 20, after 20, the motor cuts out, which is plenty fast. Now, two deceiving things, as I've mentioned before, is the speed on the video looks faster than it is. And the grades, up and down grades, are steeper than they appear. As you know, I call this my little Harley because I do about almost 100% throttle, which is on my left thumb. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. I don't think you can where the camera's. I do like the camera to be in a position to see, as they call it, the cockpit or the handlebars. Kind of gives you the impression or feeling.
Wait.
Whoop, nope. That you're riding. I watch videos, YouTube, different e-bikers, and I like to see the handlebars even though I'm sitting at my computer. I've mentioned before, traffic lights we obey. Stop signs. Last August of 23, they passed the Idaho stop requirements, which means at the stop sign I am required to slow down and yield, but I'm not required to stop. At the stop lights like I am now, which you can see, I am required to obey those, which I would anyway. And I think I got a car on my left that's going to turn.
Tamarack, walk sign.
I got signal and he was waiting for me to go. Temperature's not too bad. I think it's the low 70s. Sun pops through now and then.
Wait.
I've got the red hand up that says wait, and the signal here, you probably heard it, is saying wait. And we are in the Minneapolis Twin City area. We're on the far east side of the Twin Cities in Woodbury. Far east. Lots of trails, lots of streets. I like to give the traffic to go. There's some on my left going to turn to the right, and they can do that. I always kind of back up and acknowledge that I know they can go. This is one of the busier intersections I go through, so I'm very, very careful here. Very careful. More often than not, drivers are courteous to me, and they do see me. But all it takes is the one that's not looking. I may be right, but I don't want to be laying in the street dead right. Okay, go ahead. I'm waving them on. Then I'm going to go. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna go here. Okay, we're gonna go. I don't like that intersection. It's kind of hectic, but bide my time. I'm in no hurry. Here's our trail. Now, we didn't take time to read it, but on the rules there, it says no motorized vehicles. Under Minnesota law, which I've researched, I even have a copy with me. Here comes somebody. I think I'll wait till they get by. I don't want to zip around the corner and surprise them. Hello there.
Hi. Hello.
Saw you coming.
Thank you.
Hey, most people, you know, you're kind and courteous. It usually comes back. But oh yeah, the Minnesota classifies e-bikes as bicycles, which are legal on paths, like the path I'm on. But the limit on the motors is 750 watt. Now you can get these e-bikes up to 1,000 and more watts. That would make it illegal on this path. This is a 77-pound bike, which is pretty heavy. So I like to, my suggestion is no less than a 500 watt motor. And this is a 750, and even some very steep hills, this will have a little tough time going up and over. But you can always pedal assisted. You know, you can always do that. I'm wearing sunglasses right now. I like to wear something on my eyes to protect my eyes from bugs. If it gets real cloudy or later at night, then I'll switch over to yellow tint glasses, which is a shooting glasses, because they brighten things up and they make objects very distinguishable. I used them for small game hunting many years ago because it was almost like sunshine out on a very cloudy day. It was almost like sunshine, and it made the game very distinguishable, whereas regular glasses you might not see them. Got something coming, but I've got plenty of time to make my turn, and my handlebar mounted light is flashing, and that is for daytime riding. That flashing light, it's drawing attention to people in front of me that someone's coming if they're facing me. I've seen people ride with that flashing light on at night. That's not what it's for. At night you want a steady light on. The day it's the flashing light to draw attention. Once again, it's not telling them to get out of the way, it's just letting them know I'm coming. And it's just beautiful here. Tree is just gorgeous. Saturday I haven't seen too much traffic. Now everybody has the right, if I can use that term right, it's not in the Constitution, but we have the privilege, I guess, or right, to walk, to hike, to ride bicycles. Once again, under Minnesota law, the e-bike I'm riding, a Class 2 and a Class 3, 1, 2, and 3 are all legal on these trails. I was at a luncheon the other day with some seniors, and they brought up the issue of e-bikes, and one of them said, those things go by me to 30 miles an hour. Those things said be illegal. Oh, I looked at it and I said, don't light my fire here. Trying to keep it light. I said, but I have an e-bike. I'm an e-biker. My e-bike will only do 20. It'll do more if I want to pedal over 20, but the motor kicks out at 20. Pedal assist or throttle, and the motor stops at 20, and the rest of it I have to pedal. I don't think I can pedal this 30-pound bike up to 30 miles an hour. Now indeed, they have probably had bikes go by them pretty fast. The ones that go by me when I'm doing 20 mile an hour are the road bikes. They're lighter and they're faster, and yeah, they'll run. I've had them go by me when I'm doing 20, and they went by me, past me on my left like I was going the other way. So it can happen. That's probably what happened to that person, and it's upsetting. I can understand that, but to a knee-jerk reaction that it was an e-bike, I have no doubt it was not. I'm doing 11 miles an hour now through this windy trail in the woods, which you can see. Quick enough. So you can see on my camera here that some of these curves are pretty blind around the curve, like coming up here. I'm only doing 14, and this one is really blind. I can barely see, and I have my hands on the brake, so I want to be able to stop. I don't want to come around a corner at 15, 18 mile an hour and there's a family and I can't stop and I go off into the bushes. I don't want that. I don't want anything like that. And I don't want to be running by people, going around them, behind them, or against them. I want to create a good name for e-biking and for bicycling. A lot of people can recognize that this is an e-bike. It's big. It's got the 4-inch fat tires on it, so it's big. So a lot of people can recognize it, which is fine. A lot of people don't. See, I'm down to 11. There's a blind corner. There's a gentleman walking. Hi there. Went around him just about 10. Most people can jog at 10. It's just like you're up in the North Woods here someplace. I've mentioned this. This is a Aventon manufacturer. Adventure, not Adventure, but Adventure. 26-inch fat tires, knobby tires. Yeah, they do hum, which doesn't bother me. I know some people it bothers. That's okay. But it doesn't bother me. And here's some more folks. Hi guys. The fat tire smooths the ride out. The heavy bike smooths the ride out. I have front shocks. These are spring shocks on the front. You can get them with spring, hydraulic, or air. I think the hydraulic are probably the most expensive. These work pretty good. So I have spring shocks in the front. The fat tires are eating up a lot of roughness. Right now I'm doing 11 and a half mile an hour. That's plenty fast. When I was younger, I had a need for speed. Now that I'm in my 80s, not so much. And we're going to make a left turn here. We're just going to follow the lake around. A lot of squirrels. And another left. And I have a Sun Tour seat post, which has shocks on it. And I put a new seat on it, which has springs on it. So I get a pretty comfy ride, which I like. Always watching for traffic coming off a blind corner. Especially little kids coming. You know, they're out with mom and dad or mom and they're having fun. And when they're coming towards me or I'm coming behind them, I'm ringing the bell and saying on you left. And I slow way down, sometimes to a walk, where I'm kind of walking my bike. And usually the mother will pull them over and, you know, and say thank you, and I'll say thank you. But the little children, and I've had it happen, they'll watch you come and watch, and just at the last second as you as you start to go around, they run in front of you. That's kids. They'll do that. And you got to be watching for that. I've even had mother and father and 3 little kids on bicycles, and then the little ones, of course, on the little bikes coming towards me. And I pulled over on the grass and stopped. You know. Hi there. And I pulled over and stopped, and the kids kept coming right on. You know, it's okay. And they said, "Oh, we're so sorry." I said, "They're good. They're just children. They're good. They're out having fun. That's wonderful." And they'd look at me and smile. The kids would look at me and smile. Oh. Yeah. We'll go around here. This is the Margraff's Lake, one of my favorite trails. The thing is, I'll go on another lake here in a little while. and it'll become my favorite trail. They're all my favorite trails. Haven't met any rude trolls. We call them trolls when they call out, you know, you shouldn't be on here, that bike's illegal, you know, and scream at you. And I just smile and go on. I never turn around and go back, because that raises confrontation. They're already upset because they don't understand the law, and they've probably been whizzed by some bikers. It upsets them, and I don't blame them. It upset me too. And I've had people whiz by me on bikes. No warning, no yelling, calling out, no bell, just right by me. Yeah, and I don't like that either. So, you know, as if they probably had a bad experience with someone who wasn't being courteous. And if you go back and try and talk to them, all it's going to do is elevate the confrontation into something you don't want. That's very important. You don't want that. It's best just to keep going. Got a gentleman, going to let him know I'm coming. On your left. Thank you. See, some say nothing, some will wave, some will respond audibly. The ones I'm really careful with is I try to watch, don't always. They'll be walking and I'll see two wires, one coming from each ear, which means they have an earbud in each ear listening to something, which means they can't hear me. So I'll ring and call out and try to slow way down. I had one incident where I'm coming up behind someone and I could see a wire out of each ear. I'm ringing my bell and calling out, on your left, on your left. They were on the right side of the path like this, but I was positive they didn't hear me, so I did it quite a bit and slowed way down and went around on their left, and as I went around they jumped. Like, you know, where do you come out? And then they started screaming at me. They jumped and then waving their fists and screaming at me. Well, you know, if you hadn't had two in your ear, you would have heard me. I had one person say, well, I can hear. I said, no, you can't. Depends on how far they got it stuff in their ear, I guess, you know. So I always got to assume, no, they don't. But, you know, usually they'll wave, or you'll see them move over or wave, or I'll always try and say thank you as I go by. Sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't. It's okay. I did everything I could by calling out and letting them know, and also yielding the right of way to them. That's important. Remember, I mentioned on another video, I went by, a lady was walking toward me with a stroller, and she was kneeling down next to the stroller fixing something with a little guy or girl, and I was coming towards her and I was on the right, and I was ringing, I was calling, on your right ma'am, on your right, and I slowed way down and went around her. She looked up at me, and very loud this evening on one of my videos she said, you can't see her but you can hear her, and she yelled out, thank you for slowing down. I said, of course ma'am, which told me she's had some bikers go around her at that 30-40 mile an hour with no respect and no regard for safety. Now I get on the street, I like the streets that have bike lanes, and I'll push her right up to the 20 mile an hour where the throttle will take it. And you can't see it, but I do have a rear view mirror on a bar extender on my left side here, so now buddy, don't do it. No, that boy. A little squirrel in front of me there, he almost went in front of me. But I do have a side view mirror. I'm going to replace that one of these days with a bigger one, and maybe even another one on the right. I want to be aware of what's behind me and aware of what's in front of me. Just safety and security. See, I mention these things again and again because hopefully, and I think there are, according to the comments and growing, meet again. And if I, here's a kind of a blind turn. I'm only doing a little over 11. Here's a T in the road. I watch her both ways. You just can't hear bikes, you know. I don't ride pulling my brakes, but I do ride. I reach them very quickly. Which brings up another issue which I have mentioned in the past. This bike has a disc. I like disc. I don't like the caliper brakes. They're not as positive like they were years ago. I guess they're still out there. But I like disc brakes. It's 180 millimeter rotors on this bike, front and back. And they're also hydraulic. I highly recommend hydraulic disc brakes on e-bikes, especially on something like this. This thing's almost 80 pounds. Some of the smaller ones are 20 inches, and some of them are up to 65 pounds. And so I highly recommend the hydraulic brakes. The standard disc brakes will work, you just have to pull on them harder and probably a little longer. But I like the disc. I like the hydraulics. But I also am trying to be aware of what's in front of me so I can anticipate a stop. But sometimes you can't. Now here you probably see through my camera. It's a little curvy, but I can see quite a ways. They've done a pretty good job of retarring all the expansion tenting from the winter. That's great. That's great. Here's a blind corner coming off my right. We're good. Started out here almost a half hour ago. I still got quite a bit of battery left. I'm going to find a bench up here. And, oops. Hi.
Okay.
Hello. Hello. Now you notice with the dogs when I came around, I was going slow and slowed down some more. And he gave the dogs the command to sit. That's the first time I've seen that. That's pretty cool. But I was way down to probably 6 miles an hour. I was starting to have a little, I was just about to start to walk it. That's okay. They appreciate it. I appreciate their courtesy. I know my mother-in-law is long gone to be with the Lord. She used to say it doesn't cost you any money to be courteous and kind. And that's true. Well, it looks like we've been riding for almost, well, half hour. I'm going to make a turn here, and I believe there's a bench down here. Oh, it's on the next one right here. And I thought there was. Yep, there it is. We're going to pull over here, and it's been about a half hour. We're going to end this video. Hope you've enjoyed the trail like I have. We're going to shut her down, have some water, and overlook the lake a little bit. So until we start up again, see you on the trail.